the manner it is doing now,
Okay.
overseeing the report of the Auditor General. But proceed.
Okay, thank you. I stand corrected, Mr. Speaker. But the way I was meaning it was that MP of a constituency, when he knows that he has over 300,000 students, and the students have reported to a school, and the money he has is insufficient, and it's insufficient because the allocation is not done fairly. The MP should know that if the fund gets one man, one vote, 1 shilling, he will get sufficient amount of money to be able to build the right amount of classrooms, or to demand that the Ministry of Education, who has an allocation for classrooms, builds the right amount of classrooms. We need equity. We need everyone to be able to benefit. And if the MPs, just like the women reps, we're patrons and we don't get involved in the absolute running of the fund, I think it is important for us to call for not increased amounts of bursaries in the MPs' kitty, in the NCGDF kitty, or in the GAF kitty. We need to actually call for free secondary education. Complete free secondary education. And if the contribution by the parents will be 1,000 shillings and we're giving unemployment benefit, it will be affordable. When it comes to university and colleges, when we give help, then the help, we can say, okay, fine, now we also create an opportunity for the parents to be able to pay maybe 1,500. And then help is a loan which is repayable. But if there is no job, then help actually collapses. So all round, I really believe we need holistic ways of dealing with things. Much as I'm not a member of the Committee of Education, and I'm not a member of Labour and Social Protection, I shall start being a friend of those two committees, because my committee is Housing and Lands. I shall start being a friend of those two committees to ask these hard questions. We need free secondary education. We need free primary education. And then another point I want to make, Teacher Service Commission. There are some schools that you go to where the performance is mediocre. Those students have no hope at all because they're being sent home and then the performance is mediocre. If teachers cannot deliver students with good grades, those teachers should be fired. Because you cannot have the performance of the school at 4 and you have no reason why the school is performing so badly. So even if you take your child and your child is clever to a school where the performance is so mediocre, then that child has no chance in life. We need to look at our society and the issues that we have holistically. When it comes to corruption, which is the biggest elephant in the room, and it's the main reason for the Gen Z revolution right now, we need to make sure that the country right now looks at all the oversight reports, and Parliament looks at all the oversight reports and make sure that if there has not been prosecution, we highlight them. Because right now we are looked at as the enemy. We are looked at the ones who are not doing the right thing. But I know that there are so many reports which have called for prosecution, which have actually highlighted the corruption and the rot in various public entities and ministries, and nothing has been done about it. The executive needs to give amnesty, collect the money and use that money and redirect it for education, for health, and for food security and job creation. Because this country right now, we have a big problem, and the problem is we're not able to sustain the population, and the reason we're not able to sustain the population is because of corruption, and also because we are not a socialist country, we're a capitalist country. So if we have to pay for every expense in this country, then we have to actually increase the taxes, because that's how it goes. There's no two ways about it. But there's no need to increase taxes if the ones we collect we're not actually accountable for. So for me, I think this is an absolutely beautiful time in our country. Sadly, it has cost a lot of our youth their lives, and their blood should not have been shed in vain. We should see a shift on how we move this country from poverty to prosperity, from disunity to unity, from a lack of accountability to absolute good governance. If we do that, then we will be a parliament that is remembered, not today, but for tomorrow. But if we come back and it's business as usual, then I really regret moving from the private sector to the political sector, because it will have been a failure in my decision to join the leadership to be able to do good for my country. So let us all put Kenya first in everything, because we don't have another country. It is only Kenya. My appeal to the Gen Zs, give the president a chance. And my appeal to Raila Amolo Odinga, can we please join the government? Because some of the things that you had in your manifesto were absolutely amazing. You had an amazing way to deal with unemployment. You had an amazing way to deal with job creation through clusters. And those ideas that you had, if given to William Ruto and his government, we should be able to forge ahead. And I'd also like to urge the president to look at the Gen Zs. Let us have a few Gen Zs, or let us have a Gen Z desk in every ministry like we had a NEPA desk, so that the Gen Zs can be part and parcel of driving this nation forward. For me, I think it is wrong for us to not consider some positions to them, so that they might show us another way of doing things. You know, I mean, as I sit and I talk to them, I know that the passion that they have within is because of unemployment and lack of opportunity. They have a different way of dealing with situations than we do as their parents. So I really feel that the remaining positions, let's have a few Gen Zs, let them recommend people. They cannot remain leaderless and faceless. They have to come out and say, these are the people we're recommending for these ministries, and let the president consider them. And I really pray that together we can make a difference to not just Kenya, but the region, because we lead by example. Thank you.
Honorable Esther Passaris, the last time I checked, all Kenyans are in government, including the Right Honorable Raila Odinga. Which government is this you want Prime Minister Raila Odinga to join? The last time I checked, all Kenyans are in government, but in different political parties, as stated in Article 4. So which government is this you are inviting Baba to? The one is already in or another country? You want to respond to that?
You see, right now, obviously, I always say this to people, that whether you're in opposition, whether you are in government, whether you are in judiciary, whether you are in executive, we are all part of the government. We all constitute the government. But I believe that with the position that the country found itself, the Right Honorable Raila Odinga has said he's willing to come to dialogue, because we cannot solve our problems through anarchy. And in him coming through dialogue, if he can suggest a few people, technocrats, who can be able to help steer this government in the right direction, then I think that will be helping the government to be able to deliver. Because as opposition, there's very limited things that we can do when we don't have the majority.
Clarification made, Honorable Passaris. Thank you very much. There is no position under our current constitution. Thank you. Honorable Kainan, because of rank.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Before I comment on